It is 10:01 a.m. and I've had two trades today. I want to take this week off, but I wanted to see what the markets were going to do with the bank runs that have been happening recently. I didn't want to take a week off of trading just when it's about to do something really interesting with all the bank runs. So I just wanted to be here for this day. And I had a total of two trades. One of them didn't work out, and the other one did. And I hate being on the right track and losing money. It's one of the worst feelings, I think. But let's go over the first one, which was on this account. I did have an interest in banks like Charles Schwab, which is this broker right here, and also Fidelity. And it reminded me of the day when the markets were really down pre-market when the whole thing with Russia and Ukraine happened. And then on that day in particular, the stocks were all down and everything was down. But then once the market opened, it just shot up immediately and it had like a really big percent gain. I think it was up like 5%. It was like huge amounts. Now that the news were out and everything was down when the markets actually opened and turned around. So with that in mind, I did take into consideration with Schwab, especially when it had a wick right here and it was looking like maybe it could try to turn around immediately. I did buy not five but seven shares at 52.14, and that was right at the market open, very speculative right here at 52.14. And then it started to sell back and it just looked really bad, like the kind of price action that looks like it's going to break the day low and continue the downtrend some more. And I was right to do that. I did sell the next minute because of that bad price action at 9:31, at 51, yeah, 51.58. So I had a pretty good sell. I didn't wait for it to try to break the day low because it just looks like it was going to break through it without even trying. And that ended up being $3.90. I don't mind losing that because it was a good try for what it was. And then I did trade this one, which is Fidelity, and I liked how it broke this downtrending trend line, and then it kind of sold off again. I had another downtrending trend line, and then it was kind of at this point right here where it looked like it wasn't going to immediately get back under the trend line. Instead, it looks like it was trying to perhaps consolidate and no longer follow it anymore. And I did trade this one on my other account because I just don't have any thing right here. I ran out of cash on the cash account, so I used my margin account and I managed to get Fidelity working again. It was an issue installing the latest update. Otherwise, I would have just traded there because I don't necessarily want to use my margin accounts. I did buy at 9:45, which was right here. Yeah, 9:45 was right here, and I bought some at right around $54, and my risk was the day low, which was just, and yeah, it sucks because it did this stupid little wick right here, and I got out for that reason because it did break the day low, but it just ended up being a wick, and this could have been the kind of thing where maybe I don't cut the trade unless it actually opens a candle under my risk level, but seeing that Schwab became a halter, I no longer had an interest in it in this one. Just could have been something like that where it breaks the day low and it sells off massively. Maybe not necessarily a halt, but something really bad. And I got out, and then I felt immediately stupid when it broke it, and then it kind of came back immediately, and I didn't want to trade it again. And it did work out. It got to VWAP and didn't break above it, but that was it for the trade that I was thinking of. So I feel pretty dumb that I missed out on that. And also, I was looking at the overall markets, and I like it because it did show a sign that it was going to potentially work before it did. If you can see 9:49, it kind of uptrending and everything, but if you look at the overall markets, 9:47, it made a super nice move towards VWAP. So yeah, that was kind of like an indication that it was going to potentially be able to uptrend and get to VWAP. So I wish I did trade with that in mind. Really sucks that it broke it just briefly and I got out. I need to learn when to not do that, when to sell. Like in this case with Schwab, it was the right idea to sell before it looked like before it actually breaks the day low, because it sure looks like it was going to, and in cases where it actually does break it and I don't immediately sell because it's just going to be a wick. It just seems like something that's going to take a long time to get good at. There isn't really anything that I'm interested in now. I mean, this could break above VWAP and then offer some kind of a setup, but nothing as clean as I think this first trade setup right here was. So I'll make an update later, if not when the market is closed. If I don't see anything really develop with the overall markets, I'll just take the rest of the week off. Okay, it is 9:25 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. I'm gonna be down on the day $5.64. Two trades. This one really didn't work out with Schwab because I was going for something where the markets were just going to turn around, like it did on that day when that whole thing came out with Russia and Ukraine, and I was in it and I got out. Yeah, really bad because I mean, imagine, I'm a part of this halt right here or something like that, and I get to sell at 48.30, which would have been pretty bad. Well, yeah, that would have been a pretty bad dollar loss. It would have been more than what I thought was worst case scenario, and I actually had too many shares in this setup right here. But that wasn't a move more than 15%, so I'm just gonna say no. Normally, I say a setup really didn't work out if it immediately failed and then it dropped 15% or more over the past few candles. Let's just make sure. Let's just see what if it was at 45, which would have been really bad. Yeah, just under 15%, really close. I might actually give it a big no because it didn't halt, but actually no, I think it did halt, but it was actually something where I could have gotten out of it. I don't know. Actually, I think I'll just leave it the way it was because it did sell off pretty massively. It's not like it sold all the way down here. It just kind of jumped, and that was pretty crazy. But I'm pretty sure this thing did go through a bunch of halts. So once I started to see that it was trading like that, I no longer had an interest in it. And then I started to look at Fidelity, which is still down, which is impressive. So it must have something else going on with that stock that is making it down because Schwab did regain itself because it's not really I mean, it is a bank, but it's not really similar with the other ones that were failing. So, yeah, that's the situation. Really bummed out that I got wicked out right here. The wicks, I guess there is a wick right here. Maybe I could have considered that where, because it does show that it can do wicks when it made a move under the break level, this breaking point, my risk level. I didn't have to sell unless it maybe looks like it's going to close the candle under the risk level and then open a new one under the risk level. Yeah, this ended up being a wick. It didn't really get that much further past VWAP and it continued to sell off. So that's it for today. Nothing really eventful besides this. So I'm not going to be looking for setups for the rest of the week and I'm going to catch up with a bunch of work. And then ideally I can be better next Monday and not be so unlucky with my trading. That's it for today.